usually do is they fly into a cluster, a big ball in a tree. And you can catch them when you're there. Because what they're doing is, it's kind of like a military maneuver. We went to Desert Storm to fight the Iraqis, and what we did was we put all our tanks and helicopters and all our stuff in Saudi Arabia, right? And we mustered there, and then we figured out what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, and we went and did it, right? What the bees do is they'll fly into a cluster like that, with the new old queen in there, and they'll send out scouts. And the scouts will go out and they'll look for a good place to have a new home. And what they do, a waggle dance. Honeybees actually communicate with each other with a waggle dance. And the waggle dance is used for telling the other bees another location. And the scout bees will come back and there'll be a tree that's in bloom with a lot of nectar and a lot of pollen. And what the scout bee will come back and she'll do a waggle dance. Right? And she'll also give those like 10 bees around her a taste of the nectar, a taste of the pollen, so that those bees know where to go, and when they get there, and they know they're in the right spot. But get back to the swarm, they also do the waggle dance for their new home. And it's spot on, but anyway, when all those bees do the same waggle dance, that's the place that they accept, and that's where they're going. And they can sit in that tree for 5 days or 5 minutes. When you go to catch a swarm, you got to get there on time, otherwise they'll fly away.
How do you actually capture them?
Well, that's always tricky because they're always different. But anyway, they sit in the tree like that. What I'll do is I'll put a tarp underneath them, and I'll put a box with some frames in it, maybe with some pollen in it or some nectar, and then I'll take a frame out of one of my hives that has brood on it, and I'll put that in there, and then I'll cut the limb off and shake the bees into the box, and the queen will go in there, and that's usually the lock. When you get the queen in there, you got the brood in there, and those bees say, "Oh, these poor little baby bees, they need somebody to take care of them. They all want to be mommies, you know." That's how you catch them. But let me tell you something about a catch a swarm. Every one of them is different. I mean, sometimes they're 30 feet in the air. Oh, I don't know if I want to go up there and get them. Right? Sometimes they're on the ground. Okay, and you can vacuum them up with a special vacuum. Every one is different. Every single one of them is different. Even taking bees out of a barn or out of a house or something, everyone's different because you got to take the house apart.
So if you don't find them someplace, then what do you do? Order them online?
What?
Order them? Like, how do you get them if you can't find them somewhere?
Well, if you want to be a beekeeper, join a bee club. And I'm sure somebody in that bee club will sell you bees. And it's usually around April, May that you want to start.
Which bees decide when they introduce royal jelly to produce new queen? Well, when the eggs are laid, okay, don't they have to introduce royal jelly to turn into a queen?
Well, I'm explaining to you now how they make a queen. All right? This is hard. All right? There's no difference between a worker egg and a queen egg. It's the same. It's all done with nutrition. If you're going to make a worker out of that egg, they will feed it royal jelly, royal jelly, royal jelly for 3 days. And then they'll feed it bee bread. Bee bread, bee bread, bee bread, bee bread, bee bread. On the 8th or the 9th day, they'll put a cap over it. We're making a worker now, okay? And in 21 days total, it'll hatch out as a worker, okay? Now we're going to make a queen. Take that same egg, and we're going to feed it royal jelly, 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 royal jelly. On the 8th or the 9th day, they're going to cap it, and they're going to give it a cell. Look at this cell. It looks like that, and it's going to hang down. All right? And in 16 or 17 days, it's going to hatch out as a queen. That's the way it's done.
Where does royal jelly come from?
What?
Where did they get the royal jelly?
Royal jelly is produced in a gland in their head, the worker nurse bees. And it's a real high protein substance, and tastes terrible. When you get it in the health food store, it's in a capsule. They don't want you to taste it.
Is there preferred geometry? This is like a box. That's a wasp nest over there, right?
That's a hornet's nest.
Hornet's nest. Do bees ever swarm and then make something that's equivalent to that?
Nope.
Or are they all like this
It'll be like this.
in nature, in a tree?
Yes. Yes.
Or wherever it is.
Well, it won't be as perfect as this. It'll be curved and whatnot. But now hornets, wasps, yellow jackets, and hornets are carnivores. They have to kill to eat. All right. Honeybees are vegetarian. Okay? They eat nectar, pollen, propolis. That's it. Wasps, yellow jackets, and hornets, when I feed the bees sugar water, they have a sweet tooth. They come. So I've seen, on Japanese, not wood flowers, I've seen wasps and yellow jackets also eating the nectar, but they're not pollinators. All right?
So they don't cohabit. In other words, you don't see the hornets or wasps in the same area that the bees are.
Wasps and yellow jackets are carnivores.
Right.
They will eat honeybees.
So these guys are away from, usually far away from the wasp.
Well, they've got guards at the front door keeping them out. Speak loud.
So when there is like a queen bee, is there like with the queen bee sometimes like fly away and
No.
come back?
No, she only does that on her mating voyage, that's it.
What's your take on carpenter bees?
Carpenter bees. Carpenter bees are solitary bees, and they'll drill holes
I know.
in your woods
I
like
know.
crazy. This is a trap, actually, to kill them.
We've done that.
Huh?
We have done that.
Yeah.
Work good.
They fly in, they don't know how to get out.
Yeah.
They check it.
But they're stupid. You can go like that with your finger. And
Well, what they do is they'll bore a hole in the wood, and then it goes at a right angle.
yeah.
And at the end of that hole, she lays an egg. She puts a pellet of pollen, a pellet of nectar. She seals it off. She lays another egg, pellet of pollen, pellet of nectar, seals it off. And she'll do that like 9 times. All right? And that's how they reproduce. That's how they make more. And they're unbelievable flyers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They fly, they look at you, they hover, they go miles an hour.
How long does the queen live?
A queen will probably live for 5 years, so she's probably only good for 2. Because once she stops laying 2,000 eggs a day, that hive will never make it. Okay, so either they get rid of her or I get rid of her.
How do you know that?
There's no brood, there's no baby bees in the hive.
Oh, okay.
There's no bees at all in the hive. She got to go.
And what do you do? How